Hey there, it's Terry from TLC Dog Grooming in Hamilton, and I'm in the middle of my day. This is Theo. Isn't he adorable? Theo. He doesn't know me, I just met him today, and he's a really nice dog. But that's not the reason for this Facebook Live. I want to talk about something that it's an incredibly sensitive issue. And a lot of dog owners kind of want to roast the dog groomer about it. And we just had the experience a couple hours ago. So I'm going to share a few things about it. And that is the matted pelted dog. I refuse to do the dog. I refuse to do the job. New customer, and it was a pelt. And what does the pelt mean? Well, that means that there is nothing but mat from head all the way to tail. So it's like a turtle shell, say, of matted hair. And what's going to happen when I get into that job, because I know I've been doing this a lot for 22 years. What's going to happen is that dog will, at some point, end up at the vet's office. And the experience that it has while it's on my table and I'm trying to basically wedge, it's kind of like skinning them alive in a sense. I'm trying to wedge my clipper blade through the matted hair, and it just comes off in one big carpet. And it's incredibly uncomfortable. And you've got everything from circulation issues where the ears, they're so matted that the blood is not flowing. So when you take this off of a matted ear, they're not on Theo. Theo doesn't have any of that at all. I'm not talking about Theo. I'm talking about a completely different dog. It's like the blood just goes whoosh as soon as you take that heavy matting off. And then they start to shake their head, and the ear just goes with blood. And then you got to go in. You got to get the vet look at it. And sometimes you have to have that dealt with under surgery. So that's not cool. The other big problem is that they haven't felt their skin for, generally when they're in that bad of shape, we're talking many, many months. It's not days. Sometimes owners will kind of try and make it look as though it just happened. Well, no, it didn't. We know better. You can't fool us. So they'll bring up their back leg and they'll scratch, 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 and they'll keep scratching and they'll keep scratching, and then they'll rub themselves on the carpet, rub themselves on the upholstery. And they will sometimes open up their skin. And then if the owner doesn't do something about it and ignores it, now you've got a possible infection coming. The next problem is in the groin area. Like Theo, I haven't even done his groin area yet. Look at it. Like, I haven't even shaved it yet. There's no mats there. But when you've got this completely matted, every time this dog, say Theo did, he doesn't, but say he did, every time he pees, okay, it doesn't go to the ground. It goes up and gets soaked up into the hair like a sponge. So that's like acid burning against his skin, right? And how many times does your dog pee a day? More than once. So imagine, and having that against the skin for weeks and months. It's not good. So you're gonna, the people will end up at the vet at some point. And I can't think of 5 times in my 22 years of grooming that type of dog where an owner hasn't tried to come back on me and say it's my fault. So I just bypassed the whole dog grooming matted dog waiver. A lot of shops do it that way. They'll make you sign the waiver. Your dog is matted and it's not our fault. Any vet bills that you incur, because you're going to incur them. I just don't do them. And the other part is that I have to be mindful of the dogs that I have already in the shop, because let me tell you, when you're doing that kind of a job, they don't see a groomer consistently, so they don't have a relationship with the groomer. They're scared. It's uncomfortable. They usually have something to say about it. They don't quietly sit like Theo is. and just allow you to do your work, they've got a lot to say. And that disrupts the room. So that disrupts every animal that's in this room. It doesn't matter whether it's one other animal or 10 other animals. And I can't have that for my customers that are coming here every 6 and 8 weeks, right? I can't have them going home with diarrhea because somebody matted, pelted dog is in here and I'm trying to deal with it. The other part is I'm not willing to put my emotional state in that place anymore. I did when I was in my 20s, and my heart was so big and I wanted to help everyone and educate everyone and calmly talk to all these owners, and you need to do it, every 6 to 8 weeks, and try this and try that, and I would just talk and talk and talk and talk for hours. And guess what? It doesn't change. They come back the next time, a year and a half later, a year later, 6 months later, whatever, and it's the same situation. That's their pattern. That's what they do. So that's not my clientele. I'm not interested. It would take me an hour and a half to groom, say, Theo, whereas the matted pelted dog is going to take me about 3 hours. So your price isn't going to be the same. And even if I charged you double to do the extra work, it's still not worth it to me emotionally and mentally. It's not worth the people that are in this room, the other humans that are in this room, to listen to it and to come over and have to stop what they're doing to nurture the dog while I try and calm him down. No, you might as well just go to the vet, have him sedated, have them shave it off, and then send you home with the medication that you're probably going to need in the next 10 days anyway. That's how I deal with it. And a lot of people, when they come here and I refuse to do the work, they kind of want to roast me. And I'm not, we don't get into an argument about it. It's just how I am. I just refuse to do the dogs. And that's a healthy boundary for me and in my business. But, when you've got other shops that are seeing probably 3 dogs a week in their shops that are in that state, there's a problem. And a lot of the younger groomers, they don't want to talk about this because they're afraid that they won't get clients, or they're afraid that whatever it is. I'm old and I'm going to retire in a decade, so I've decided that I'm going to start talking about these things. And if I can help one person's dog not have to have hematomas in his ears, not have to have urine burns on his skin and mats in his pads so that he can't feel his feet when he walks. If there's one dog that I can help not have to go through that experience, then it's probably worth making. Hey there, I'll be right with you. Okay.
We're just from Renz.
I'll be right with you on Facebook Live. Renz is here. You want to introduce yourselves? We're talking about the matted pelted dog. Sid, honey, Sid. Anyway, if I can save one dog from not having to have that experience, then that's a good thing. So if I've made this one customer angry with me because I refused to do his dog, well, so be it. But I'll get on my Facebook Live and I'll do something about it, and not shame the client, but if 5 people change the way that they've been doing their grooming routines, then that's a good thing. Okay, I got to see what Renz wants. Everybody have a good day.